My name is Newman Jackson. I was born in Charleston, West Virginia. But I've always been a creative person, but never really had a chance to really express myself. Something like being there, you know, people really don't have that big of an appreciation for artists. I come from a neighborhood where almost everyone were athletes. They did everything from basketball, ran track, football, the whole deal. At that time, I was a small individual. Believe it or not, I was 5'3" when I was in high school. Just had a little growth spurt happen to me. So I was too late for the athletics. But I pursued my art, even though everybody always wanted me to draw something on the back of their shirts, back of their jackets. When they had a little gang thing, they wanted me to design their stuff. But it still never gave me an opportunity to really excel at my creative juices, let them flow, I should say. And I guess when I spent some time in the military, and while I was in the military, the only way I'd express myself was like doing portraits of the guys' girlfriends and stuff like that. Got a little bit of reputation. It used to keep me out of trouble too. Well, I should say minimize the trouble I was in. And they put me on punishment, and what they would do is make me design the holiday stuff. So I'm on punishment, sitting in the back drawing and designing stuff on the walls, and probably a 2-hour project. I extended out for like 3 weeks or so, just so that I don't have to do what everybody else had to do, you know, all the hard stuff, go out in the cold and all that. So it kept me inside quite a bit. But later on in my life, I even tried to get into art again. I never had a chance to go back to school until I guess I came out of the military and under the GI Bill, went to school, became an art major. And thought I saw my future right there. Well, that came to, I should say I put it on hold, because at the time when I went to school, I was married, had 2 kids, had a full-time job, was trying to carry full-time hours in school. And I got as far as maybe 12 hours. And so I'm 12 hours short on my bachelor's right now. So I put my artistic art on hold for like 30 years, and that was only because of the job I had decided to pack up and move overseas. And after trying to look for work, my muse, my girl, she told me to quit trying to find a job, do what you do best. So I go to an art show. I never got to see the show, because no sooner I walked in the door, some people just walked up to me and say, "Hey, are you an artist?" I said, "Well, I'm trying to be." So they started talking to me, told me what my aspirations were. I told them where it was. They introduced me to another artist who had a studio close by. He took me to his studio. We sat in there for about an hour. We talked. He told me about his art. He showed me his art. And then, I don't know what it was about the conversation, but he also mentioned to me that somebody had reneged on a show that he was supposed to be doing that one summer. Asked me how many pieces I had. Well, over the years, I've been dabbling. So I had a few things, and I had my first solo show before I even had my studio. And then by chance, a friend of mine who happens to be a filmmaker, and I knew he was out in California, hadn't seen him for about 4 years. He was still in Charleston. He heard about my show, went and signed my book. I go check my book, find out that he saw it, gave his phone number, gave me his email address. I contacted him. He says, "Newman, you know, I got a studio space I haven't used for 2 years. It's full of a whole bunch of stuff. You can go in and do what you want to with it." And so he says, "Well, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. Got to shoot. Do what you got to do." So in the meantime, I'm painting and scraping and moving everything out of it. And my man come back about 2 weeks later. He sees what I did. He says, "No, hell no. I got to get a piece of this," because he wanted to be a part of what I was about to create. And so at that point, then I had to be a part of an organization. I had to be a part of something, because I didn't know where to go, what to do, because there's been a 30-year hiatus. And so I joined a little art group, which is called Allied Artists of West Virginia. They gave me an opportunity to show another piece at a place which is called Tamarack, which is like kind of the art center of West Virginia. It's where everyone goes to display their art. I was told it would take 3 tries to get into Tamarack. Well, I got in the first time. I'm still hiding that grin. Sorry, it just came out. I tried. But I got in. So 6 months later, they have another show. I get another piece in. And in the meantime, I'm with Allied Artists trying to find everything, try to find all the ins and outs I need to know. I need to catch up. I got 30 years to catch up on. But Allied Artists wasn't going anywhere. They've been around for about 80 years, and they weren't going anywhere. All they were a whole bunch of hobbyists. I hope nobody sees this. But there were a whole bunch of hobbyists who painted nothing but, and please, if I step on someone's toes, All they do.
Think about what you just saw at the August Wilson. Okay,
I'm not. You're right. Back up. Back. Well, y'all know. Let me hear some key. Let me hear some keying.
But we're gonna have that free flow in just a minute. So can you come on?
Bring it in.
Bring it. Yeah.
Bring it in.
Okay. So we can have some time, and then we'll.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You don't have a conversation. Let's talk. I'm sorry. That's what I am. But anyway, right. But anyway, just to bring it to a close, my inspirations are what came from my life. It comes from my community. It comes from my Appalachian experiences. Because my parents, my grandparents, they're basically country folk. Even though I grew up in an urban setting, I was raised country. And I mentioned earlier about one of my paintings, which is called Bologna Sandwich and Root Beer Kool-Aid from a Jelly Jar. It's all about how I grew up. Everything came out of a jelly jar. We didn't buy glasses. We bought them with jelly affixed to them. And stringing beans and sitting on the back porch and talking. And that's the inspiration for my painting now. Is my past, my life, what I know about West Virginia right now.
Yeah.